sports fans? ASMR Sports here. And we got some old and some new stuff here. And some gum. So yeah, the comments have been rocking and rolling here the last few days. And I've been looking for suggestions and appreciate those who have made them for content that you'd like to see. I think, oh, look at that. Something's going on eBay. I'm gonna just show you what we're gonna do in this video. I just got today, actually I got these yesterday. But these I ordered a little while ago. And they were like a pre-order. But this is Onyx Vintage 2020, which is like a prospect kind of product. It's an unlicensed product. Now I gotta tell you, I don't know anything about Onyx, really. I've bought some of their stuff like once before. Or maybe more than that, but I only remember once. Try to move my mic here. It's been kind of finicky lately. The stand, I mean. Oh well, okay, so, yeah, I was just kind of seeing, looks like they're in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, if they're associated with some other company, you know, like a bigger company or something, because in terms of like products like this, there's only like maybe 2 or 3 that I'm aware of, maybe not even 3 that I could think of. But this Onyx Vintage one I bought last year, and it was pretty cool. It's got like all prospects, and there's like 3 or 4 autographs, I think. Let's see here. 4 cards per box, 2 on-card autos, or on-card autographs per box. Redemption for graded star rookie. Oh, what? Redemption, what does that mean? 24 boxes per case. 1 premium hit in every case. Oh, that almost makes me want to buy a case. Although, I don't know. This stuff is fairly difficult to sell in the aftermarket, but last year I bought just like, I don't know, 4 boxes of this stuff, and I got like a bunch of Marco Luciano, who's a super hot prospect for the Giants, and I think I got like an Eloy Jimenez, like pretty rare parallel, and I think I got something else that was good too. So I don't know, I thought I had a good enough experience with it before. You know, it's like the cards aren't really worth that much because there's not a big market for obviously this unlicensed stuff. But it's you know, you get a lot of good autographs from really good prospects, so you know, it feels like it's a good deal. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, sorry, I forgot what I was doing. All right, so I'm gonna open these guys in just a second, and then I forget the user, but somebody in the comments has been asking for vintage baseball. I should get like my iPad, because like I do these videos on my phone, so I can't see anything but the video. I should get like my iPad and like look at the comments and stuff, so I can do shout outs and such. But one person's been requesting vintage baseball, and I've had this box around for a while. I bought this, I think it was like $10 at a local card shop, and I thought it was just like I didn't know what it was. This is a vending box, so theoretically you just have like a bunch of random 1981 Fleer baseball cards in here. So I bought it just to kind of see what was in it. You know, maybe it's got 81 Fleer vending pack cards in it, maybe it doesn't. So anyways, what it actually has in it is 81 Donruss cards, and I took a quick peek through there like a while ago, and it's actually got stars in it, so I'm gonna look through there and figure out what the heck is in there. It's not a set. There's ASMR Kitty shout out right there. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be maybe looking for things that are in like good condition, and I actually, when I pulled a couple cards out of there, I saw some decent condition stuff. So hopefully there'll be some stars in good condition in there. But it's weird that it's in an 81 Fleer box. Anyways, my homeboy Buck Futler, long-time listener, first-time caller, has requested some Garbage Pail Kids, and he may mean the old school ones. I'm just looking up at my boxes that are right next to me, where I have those. I have a ton of, well, not a ton. I've probably got, I don't know, 12 boxes of old 80s Garbage Pail Kids that I bought up like a couple years ago. I just kind of decided to buy like a bunch of, like I basically started like with, I think, the third series, which, you know, first is like ridiculously expensive, second is not ridiculously expensive but still quite expensive, third is pretty much cheap. You know, it's a little bit more now, but back then it was, well, whatever, like 100 some bucks, maybe 105 bucks. So anyways, I got the third series, and then I got the fourth and fifth and sixth, and then I don't know, I went all the way to like the 11th, just because, I don't know, I got nostalgic. And I remember when I was a kid, and I would go to the store, like the local convenience store, and they would have those. Anyway, so Buck, if this is not what you were thinking, I apologize, but I've had this box sitting around forever because I bought it to open on this channel, but just haven't gotten motivated enough to do it. So I was like, oh, Garbage Pail Kids, yeah, I've got something for that. So I'll open this at some point in the next few days. And then I think the same guy that, or person that requested vintage baseball also mentioned 87 Topps football, and it just so happens I have a few wax packs remaining from a box that I used to have, and then I have opened a few things over the years. Unfortunately, with these packs, the problem is there was definitely some moisture exposure to these things, so the cards are like kind of warped, and the gum is like totally, you know, congealed to the card it's on, and actually like the gum kind of leaks through, like not just one card but like two or three. So the box is kind of a bummer, but it's funny, these look pretty good now, but in the past they've been like, I don't know, depending on the moisture content in my place where I store these, like I feel like they get kind of bent sometimes. Anyway, so I'll do these guys at some point in the next few days as well. And then the actual vintage baseball that I wanted to do, that I had mentioned in a comment, was opening a couple of these 85. Oh, look at that, I got Oral Hershiser rookie on there. I didn't realize that. That's kind of nice. I don't know, maybe I'll save this one. People like these rack packs with stars on them, but I don't know if anybody's collecting Oral Hershiser. But anyways, I thought these would be some good kind of older baseball stuff that I could open. So anyways, not gonna do that today, but it's coming. I just wanted to let you all know what's in the queue. Please continue to give me ideas for what you'd like to see. And you hockey folks don't have to say anything. I'm trying. I'm always trying to get some hockey stuff going. As I mentioned yesterday, I ordered a couple things that are really cool products that I've been kind of eyeing for a little while in the hockey world, and I'll have those next week sometime, so we'll start going through those. Alright, so without further ado, let's get in these Onyx vintage. Alright, so these boxes are kind of interesting. I kind of like those. Not sure if I would use those to like ship a card in. Pretty much. Probably would not, because like I don't think it would fit a top loader, and I'm not gonna ship a card like this just kind of unprotected in a bag. Oh, funny. Alright, I'm just gonna show it. Marco Luciano, Speak the Devil. That is an autograph, so that's one of the autographs. So that's cool. I guess the only complaint I have is just I already have like 2 autographs in this product from last year of him, so it's a little bit kind of redundant for me, but yeah, I'm not going to complain about having prospects out of this product, and I see the corners are a little bit dented. I don't think that box is very good at protecting these. Alright, Alexander Canario. I don't know too much about him. Oh, actually, maybe that's not an autograph. Although I think it is, because I'm just looking at these two cards right here. And they're not autographed, and there's two in the box, so yeah. It's weird, it said, guarantee, you've just received an authentic Onyx Vintage 2020 limited edition grading card. Well, that's nice. And then it says parallel autograph collection, blue, so it's just like information. That's kind of silly, I don't know. Huh. Alright, well, there's our two non-autographs. Gleyber Torres, and I can't remember last year if there was, like, you know, non-prospects in the product, but apparently there is this year, because Gleyber Torres obviously has been around for a few years now. So who's our other autograph? Robert, wow, how do you say that? Poisson. Huh, I've not heard of him. Oakland, interesting. And then there's Marco. And unfortunately, neither of these are parallels. So there's the numbering, blue, number 200 green, number 250 in red, number 25. And that's the what they're referring to is the color of the signature, I believe. So the blues are the most common. And it said number to 200, but I don't think they are actually serial numbered. I think they mean there's 200 of the blue ones in the product. At least I'm pretty sure that's what they did last year. So there are no serial numbers on any of the cards or any of the parallels in this product. It's just they tell you the quantity they're printed based on the color of the ink. But you know, this is such a, you know, I don't know, kind of a niche product that honestly the parallels are not like super valuable compared to the base. Just like if you find someone who wants a Marco Luciano autograph but doesn't, you know, care about licensing and logos and all that, then you know they're probably not gonna pay any more for something that's number 20, or that's, you know, only there's 25 of versus this card that there's 100 of. At least that's my guess. I have to say I haven't actually sold any of these, but I remember just sort of looking at the pricing and thinking there wasn't a whole lot of difference in the parallel pricing last year, and so maybe I was wrong, but that's kind of what I remember thinking. Okay, yeah, boy. So this packaging just sucks, I gotta say. I'm sure these corners are all banged up now, because it's actually not too bad. So, yeah, I can't say I would want to ship anything in this thing. Yeah, it's pretty shitty, actually. Might have to just toss these out. Alright, so there you go. Ronald Acuna is our first card of this pack. Too bad he's not the autograph. That would be pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm guessing that there'll be another non-autograph card right behind it. And then the two autographs will be at the bottom of the stack. So let's see. Yep, no autograph. So Aurelvis Martinez, he's a pretty good young prospect for the Blue Jays. Yeah, I think most of the prospects in here are actually pretty good. I don't know about this Robert Poisson. I'm not sure where he ranks in the Oakland system, but Marco Luciano certainly is like one of the top. She was, I don't know, 10 or 15 prospects, I would say, in the game. Okay. Oh, by the way, I might link this up, but I was reading this article that somebody linked to on the Blowout discussion forums, and it's like the what is it? It's like the top most hyped prospect for every team, like in their history. And it was pretty fascinating. I mean, the stories that are in there, you know, some of it you kind of knew if you collected cards in those days, you know, in the time when the prospect was coming up. But like I was reading the whatever the info on the Mets number. Do you know who the Mets number one most hyped prospect of all time, at least according to this list, was? It's not a surprise, and maybe some of you will just guess it, but it's Greg Jeffries. And that's sort of meaningful to me because Greg Jeffries' rookies were all in 1988. He was an 88 Fleer, 88 Scorer, 88 Donruss, not 88 Top Scores because they can never have like the freaking good rookies when they come out. But Greg Jeffries, yeah, very, very interesting. All I remembered about Greg Jeffries is that in 1988, when those 1988 baseball products were coming out, that the Greg Jeffries cards in there were so flippin' hot that you could just like walk into any card show and sell any Greg Jeffries you had like at Beckett value immediately. And I remember 88 Fleer was, I think, the first product to come out. It's funny, I'll have to look this up someday, but Topps was always the first to come out like in the calendar year, and I don't know what the order of things was because I didn't really pay attention to that stuff when I was a kid. Now I sort of know when releases come out because I know when to expect it, when to pre-order, when to plan to have it in my hands and stuff like that. But I think if I had to guess, I would say Fleer was maybe the next to come out after Topps because I just remember that 88 Fleer Greg Jeffries card was so freaking smoking hot. Anyways, so the story was all about like he was kind of like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the sense that he was just killing, like slaying the minor leagues, and then people were expecting him to be just one of the best of all time, kind of like Mike Trout, but he would be Greg Trout, I guess. Basically he came up and didn't really do all that great with the Mets, and then went off to a few other teams and did a lot better, but had some injuries, and then just kind of had a very short career. All right, here we go. Sorry for the... Oh, look at that. Alexander Canario. So I think he's pretty good. It's funny, I've not had occasion to kind of look up his standing in the Giants system, but I feel like I've heard his name. Good to have an autograph of him. And you kind of see, like, I don't know, it feels like this set is very small, because, like, we pulled a card of him. We pulled the base card of him, and then, also got the auto, so maybe that's just the only double we'll get. But, alright, our last shot at kicking butt. What do we got, Atlanta? Oh! Ha-ha! Bozangos. Look at that, guys. Wow, that's funny. I was kind of wondering if we'd see Acuna show up elsewhere in this pack when we got that one base card of his. Well, what can I tell you, folks? The luck continues. I'm not sure there's a better pull out of this product. I mean, all the prospects I think are in here. Wander, Franco is definitely in here. I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm pretty sure he's in here. I'm sure, like, Luciano's in here. I don't know. I doubt Jason Dominguez in here, but pretty much any of the other, Julio Rodriguez, kind of any of the top current prospects, I think are in this set and are all on card. So, I think maybe Wander Franco might be worth a bit more than this Acuna, but I'm not sure. So this is awesome. This is really cool. These boxes, I feel, I can't remember how much they were, but I think they're like $45 a piece, which was definitely part of the appeal when I got them last year, to start my experience with this stuff in the first place. So, I mean, I paid like whatever, $88, and I got these guys. I mean, these are all, again, I think these guys are probably pretty good. I think Marco Luciano is great, and of course Ronald Acuna. So, like, for $88 to get these 4 guys, it's like nuts. And yeah, compared to what the price would be if these were Bowman cards or anything that's licensed. Yeah, it's way less, but I don't know, for like fun value, I think this stuff is like pretty cool. Plus, I didn't know. Oh, it was on the wrapper. But let's see here. I didn't know about this stuff. So it's 24 boxes per case. Okay, so yeah. And then it says 1 premium hit per case, and then it says redemption for graded star rookie 1950s or later. I don't know if that's the 1 premium hit per case or what. I don't know. I mean, a case would be pretty expensive, but it would be a blast to open, so I don't know. I'll check the eBay value on these hits that I got, and if it's anywhere decent, then I don't know, maybe I would consider it, but probably not. I'm not really looking to spend thousands of dollars on a case of stuff that's like pretty much exclusively for fun. At least not that product. Alright, so here we go. Looks to be all 81 Donruss. And unfortunately, well, now look at this. These are organized by team, so maybe this is, well, they're sort of loosely arranged by team. I was going to say maybe it's a set, but... Alright, so Ozzie Smith, unfortunately, you can see it's bent here. This is maybe one of the better cards in the product because it's a very early Ozzie Smith, but there's plenty of like Reggie Jackson, Eddie Murray, George Brett type players. So, at any rate, I'll pull him out. I just want to get a sense of condition other than that front card, and it's pretty good. 81 Donruss is notorious for low product, like quality assurance, or quality control, I should say. Excuse me. Like just feeling these, the size of the cards vary significantly. Like this one's sticking out. It's like way bigger than the rest. So that's one problem. The other problem is centering is total trash on like 90% of these cards. So if you find a well-centered card, it's probably going to be extremely rare. So Raleigh Fingers is a Hall of Famer. Corners look decent on this, but centering is terrible. Rick Wise, kind of looked like Goose Gossage for a minute there. Gene Richards. Oh, Alan Trammell. I think, yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of one of those borderline inductees. No offense to you vintage Tigers fans, but he wasn't much of like an offensive wonder. He was just very steady, played really good defense, and was, I think, on the Tigers forever, so it gets you some street cred, kind of like Ozzie Smith in a lot of ways, but like, a tenth as flashy. Mark Fidrich. So, and yeah, these cards are also notorious for being kind of sort of diamond cut, which means it's sort of like a parallelogram, like the top and the sides are not like at 90-degree angles. Alright, so here's a very nice looking Mike Schmidt. That's actually pretty dang sharp. Yeah, really clean card there, and relatively odd. Gee whiz, I might have to pull that guy out for some grading. Probably I would get a PSA 9, and it would be worthless, but maybe worth a shot. Willie Stargell. I have to look at the population report. You can go on like PSA's website and see how many PSA 10s, how many PSA 8s, 9s, whatever's. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer. Rafael Landestoy. Bruce Bocci was a manager for many years. Yeah, the photographs like just are kind of blurry on this product, but I can only imagine what crazy arcane processes. Now this This one was like there was like an error of this card, and I don't know what it was or is. Yeah, I can't remember. But I remember it was pretty rare and fairly valuable back in the day. Probably not so much now. Look how blurry this photo is. It's like crazy. But, you know, I guess you're doing something for the first time. You gotta work out the kinks. Steve Carlton, Hall of Famer, and this one is actually pretty nice too. Wow, that is actually really nicely centered. Huh. So that's pretty cool. Might have to pull him out too. Lee Mazzilli. Yeah, I kind of wonder if these did not come from packs. If they maybe were in a vending product. Mike Scott was a really good pitcher for the Astros and Mets for a good number of years. I think he was like a flamethrower too. I think he had a really fast fastball, if I recall. Wow, look at these old school White Sox jerseys with the collars. Fantastic. I guess they're full collars because they're not like really collars, but they look like collars. There's a nice Rod Carew that's got a dinged up corner there. Bert Campaneris, that guy played forever, I believe. At this point he had 8,459 at-bats. I think he had a few seasons after this even. Don Sutton, another guy that lasted forever. Johnny Bench, very nice, off-center, but a very crystal clear registration on this. No blurriness on that guy. Mario Soto, George Foster, big power hitter. I think he had like 50 home runs one year, which was like, you know, the most home runs in a season, like since Maris in '61, and Mantle that same year. Tommy Herr, funny, Tommy Herr actually came up in the in that article I was talking about the like most hyped prospects, because in Greg Jeffrey's case, Tommy Herr was actually playing second base for the Mets at the time, and basically Jeffries like replaced him, and I think Tommy Herr probably was around as like a, you know, utility guy, like a backup. So yeah, apparently some of the players on the Mets at the time said they'd rather have like Herr playing second base than Jeffries. Bobby Bonds, there you go. Father of Barry. Former Yankee as well. Mike Hargrove was a manager. Ron Hassey played for the Twins at one point, later in the 80s. Joe Sharpen, I believe that this card was also, there was like an error on this. I can't remember what it was. I feel like it might have been a reverse negative, but that's not a reverse negative there, so if it was, then that's not the error version right there. Cecil Cooper was a really good player. Star for a lot of the 80s. Gary Carter, Hall of Famer. Boy, we are just getting real good luck with the centering on this a little bit off. There's like a blueprint defect there, so I probably won't put that in my grade pile, but boy, that's sharp looking. Alright, this is pretty cool so far, I have to say. Kind of like this a lot better than opening up a bunch of packs of this stuff, because Oh, look at that. Boy, and another, like, superstar with really good centering. Unfortunately, the corner's a little bit soft on that one. Otherwise, that's perfect. I don't know, I might pull that out. Anyways, Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer. George Brett. Real nice card in the left center there. So, I don't know, this feels like it might be a set because we haven't gotten any doubles, at least of the stars yet, and I don't think of any other players. There's Tommy John, of course, the first player to have the Tommy John surgery. There's Lou Piniella, I gotta get him. He was a manager for a few years at the Yankees, back in the 80s. Eddie Murray. Very nice card there. There you go, Ricky. A little bit off center. So that's a second year card of his. Jack Morris, now a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose. These have like a little black print mark on there. This one in the Jack Morris. Willie Stargell, Hall of Famer. Bert Blyleven is a Hall of Famer, I believe now. Another one of those borderline cases. Dave Parker, he was a big, fearsome hitter in the 80s. Fergie Jenkins, Hall of Famer. I think he had 300 wins. He got 259 on that card. I think he was around for another few years after that. I feel like his last card was in 83. You know what? I just realized these are in numerical order, which is interesting because I was sort of thinking that this set would be in team order, but that does not appear to be the case. So yeah, these are in numerical order. Okay, so it does appear we have a set, or at least the makings of a set. I think there are one or two cards missing. Steve Garvey. Got a bunch of autographs from him once at a golf tournament where he was playing when I was a kid. Johnny Bench. There you go. Very nice. Off-center Ken Griffey Sr. Almost said Junior. So, yeah. So I just want to look at the numbering here. Like 93, 92, 91, 89, 88. So let's see. This is, number 3. So we pulled out 1 and 2. Alright, so it appears that what we have here is a complete set of 81 Donruss. But since some of these stars are in really good condition, I'm definitely not going to keep this as a set, as opposed to pulling the cards out and possibly grading some of them. I feel like this set is going to be very condition sensitive, so if you can find cards that are, really sharp, there may be a significant premium on them just because it's so hard to get cards in decent condition out of this set. So, Paul Molitor, a little bit off center there. These cards are almost like sandpaper. Alright, so Tim Raines is coming up in this, I think. Well, he's an Expo, I'll say that. Andre Dawson, I don't know if... Yeah, okay, maybe not. So there's Carl Yastrzemski. Another one, super nice centering. Wow. crazy. Jerry Remy, isn't he? I think he's one of the announcers for the Red Sox, and I believe like she was last year or maybe the year before. One of the Red Sox announcers had a real bad health kind of challenge. I think it was maybe cancer, and it might have been him. I hope he's doing all right. If so, if there's any Red Sox fans out there, you probably don't like me very much because I'm a big Yankees fan. But yeah, I lived in Boston for many years. Went to Fenway quite a few times. So, you know, I know quite a bit about Boston and the Red Sox, even though I'm not a fan. I can appreciate a lot about them. So now I have to look, actually. One thing I want to see is Ozzie Smith was the first card we pulled, so yeah, he is number 1. Number 2, Raleigh Fingers. Okay. Interesting. Pete Rose, another Pete Rose. This one is in pristine shape. Good Lord, we're getting lucky with these stars, I'm telling you. I don't know if I've seen that. That's probably like the best centering out of any of these. Crazy. Crazy good centering. And there's Nolan Ryan, and of course, frickin' pristine condition. Bottom right corner might be a little soft, I don't know. Maybe not. Wow. I'm kind of shocked. This is crazy. How good these condition of the stars are, and then like, you know, the commons are off center. I don't know, maybe they put all the stars on like one sheet and made sure they got the cutting right. Alright. Yeah, one thing if you own a sports card shop, which I do not, one of the things that you get to experience a lot is buying just large, collections of cards from people and going through them and not really knowing what you're going to get. As just a collector myself, I guess I'm kind of a sort of almost a dealer, just online. Although I haven't really set up a store or anything yet. I sell a few things on eBay. But my plan, like with a lot of my unopened stuff, is to sell it eventually. And I hope to do that relatively soon. But in any event, what I don't really ever do is buy collections of cards, just because, if you have a card shop, what happens is people come in with their cards and they want to sell them, or they'll see in the yellow pages or whatever and find a way to contact you. So you have all these opportunities to buy things in large collections, and the card shop that I like in my area that actually recently closed down, unfortunately, John Littlefield. This was also an error. There's a lot of errors in this set, I'm now remembering, and he was one of the it might have been an 81 Fleer, 82 Fleer or something. I just remember he had like a really rare error card around this time frame. Anyways, yeah, so like the shop that I went to until recently would buy collection all the time, and like the owner would always be sorting through stuff, and he'd have like boxes of stuff, monster boxes of stuff that he had bought, and was still going, boy, that's cool. I've never seen that card before. I don't think. That's kind of amazing. But this one is really sharp corner-wise, but I just actually see a couple of flaws with the surface, I think, too. But it's off-center, so nothing really great worthy there. Yeah, this is like as close as I'll get to, other than opening boxes, to going through something that I'm not really sure what, I've got, and trying to figure out Tony Perez. Is he in the Hall of Fame? Gosh, I can never remember. I think he is. Carlton Fisk is most certainly in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, like I always think it would be super interesting just to get like a mystery box, you know, of stuff. And go through it and see what treasures are in there. Goose Gossage, a little bit off center there. Right, oh, look at this. Reggie Jackson, another really nicely centered star. I feel like there's a little discoloration down there. I'm not sure if that's something or nothing, but I'll take him out. Yogi Berra, very nice manager card. Jim Palmer. I feel like there's a couple of versions of this card with like different levels of zoom. I feel like I opened a pack of this once and got like 3. Yeah, that's the other thing is collation was a total nightmare with this product. I have opened packs of this stuff and got like 3 of the same card, like the exact same card. And then like later in the pack, I'll get 2 of a different card. So it was like just totally insane. There's a nice man, and again, really good centering. Top to bottom's not so great on that one. It's crazy every time we get a star. It's like the centering is freaking flawless. I don't know. Maybe this was like a hand collated set, and there's like 15 Pete Roses in here for some reason. Actually, I remember there's like 15 Reggie Jacksons in here too. I think they just wanted, and not a bad idea, right? Have more cards in the set of the superstars than of the commons, and then people will be happy, right? That's what everybody wants, is to get the Mickey Mantles. So, not a bad idea, but a little confusing. Well, this video is taking forever, but the time is kind of flying on me. I really enjoy going through this stuff, especially when you're having the luck that I'm having on the condition of some of these things. Steve Trout, that guy was like, I think a total like drug addict, cokehead, like party animal that got into some trouble with the substances later in his career. Tony La Russa. That guy's gonna be in the Hall of Fame as a manager, I think. With the A's and the Cardinals, he had such good success. You know what? We haven't gotten a Tim Raines yet. And that's pretty much like the big rookie card in this product. Tom Seaver. Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox owns the Major League record for highest number of ejections all time. Which I think is, somewhat laudatory in some ways. Red Shundins. So he's a coach in here, which is funny because, there's, whatever, every team has like probably 10 coaches. And none of them are in here, but he is, because he's just a legendary player from gosh, when did he start? Like the 40s, yeah. So at this time he would have been 60-some years old. Let's see. Oh wow, he would have only been in his 50s. That's funny. So he's born in 23. So he would have been 60 in 1983, which is 2 years after this. So it's funny. He's only like 58, but he looks a lot older. But I don't know. I feel like Vita Blue. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's a really good pitcher. Dale Murphy. He was a really great player. I feel like he's the best player not in the Hall of Fame, other than Don Manley, of course. John Tudor, Dwight Evans, Al McRae, Jim Frey. Is that pronounced Jim Fry? I don't really know. Reggie Jackson, number 1. Mike Davis. Jim Palmer. That's like, that's the second variation of his card, I guess. We're gonna go back and look at the first one, because I want to show you how, like, silly this is. There. So, look at these cards. Right? One is numbered 353. One is numbered 473. This is career highlights. This is like the base card. And they're exactly the same, except for this one is zoomed in more. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. I love it. 81 Fleer was kind of similarly all over the place. They had a ton of errors and variations in there too, some of which were valuable. I think that John Littlefield was an 81 Fleer, now that I think about it. There's a nice Steve Carlton. You know, it's weird, like all of a sudden they changed the design. And it doesn't really say, oh, Cy Young. Okay, so it's a Cy Young award winner card or something, I guess. The Twins, absolutely nobody on that team at this time. And George Brett with the MVP card there, very nice. Right in the middle of the Twins. Mickey Rivers. Gene Michael. I believe he was eventually the general manager of the Yankees. And then, like, would do another stint as manager in the, like, late 80s, if I recall. Joe Torre, there you go. Yankee skipper for a bunch of their championships. Steve Howe. There you go. Kiko Garcia. There's the Twins uniform in a Mariners card. It's before they figured out how to do the, like, traded to the, you know, Mariners on such and such a date. Jim Cat, take him out for sure. That's a cool one right there. Oh, look at that. Right behind it, there's our guy, Tim Raines, and, you know, centering is a little bit off, but it's also got these weird print problems there on the right, so that's a bummer. That would have been a cool one to try to get in Gem Mint. It's gonna be like my longest video ever. Actually, I feel like I've done videos that are an hour when things really go sideways. Braves. Have we seen a Braves card? I feel like this is the first card we've seen with purple borders. They're still in numerical order, but, like, now they're just changing teams every other card. Danny Ainge, there you go. Boston Celtics superstar. Okay, maybe not a superstar, but a star. Had a number of cards. Baseball cards. I think he had an 81 tops as well. Yeah. So he played in the bigs for at least a few games. 38. But then I think shortly thereafter went on to his basketball career. Kind of amazing that he made it to the big leagues. Mookie Wilson, I believe that's a rookie card. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, no, I don't think it is. I think he had earlier cards. Maybe 1980. I might be wrong. Dave Steeb. He was a pretty good pitcher back in the day. Look at this crazy photo with a flash. Mike Schmidt, NL MVP. And Steve Stone. Wow, I didn't know he won a Cy Young. He's a longtime announcer for the Cubs. And then I feel like he, like in the 80s and 90s, he was the Cubs announcer with Harry Carey. And I remember listening to him on like WGN games. And then I heard more recently, I think he's worked for the White Sox. If you're in Chicago, I'm sure you know quite well. You can tell me what the deal is. Alright, last few cards here. Mike Prawley. He's probably gonna have a pretty crappy career. Tommy Boggs. Is he related? I think he's related to Wade Boggs. Just not gonna say it. But I feel like I remember this. Pitcher, and he's taking batting practice. It's one of those anomalies. And then a bunch of checklists. Okay, well, there you have it. A bunch of older baseball cards now. This is gonna go, this box of now commons is just gonna go in a junk pile. I'll just have a bunch of commons in a, random shipping box that I'll eventually do something with. So yeah, we did pretty well. We got some real sharp looking 81 Donruss. Probably pull a couple of those out for grading. We got a fantastic Ronald Acuna Jr., which I think is the only autograph of him I have at present. I had a couple, like last year, but ended up selling them. So that's pretty awesome. Another Marco Luciano, a Canario, and a Poisson. Alright, that was a lot. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll catch y'all later. We'll be doing that stuff that I show you at the beginning for the next few days. So keep sending ideas for what you want to see. Thanks for your comments, for your likes, and your subscribes. We'll check you all later. Have a great one. Bye.